Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on Tuesday, the 23rd of January. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Ashwin Berry.
And I am Irene Marie van der Walt.
All right, without further ado, let's get straight into the news stories that you can expect on Sunset News. There is concern about the impact climate change and global warming have on the rhinos in the Etosha National Park because it is believed that this park will soon be too hot for these endangered animals to survive. According to the report, exploring temperature and precipitation changes under future climate change scenarios for black and white rhinoceros populations in southern Africa, rhinos will not be able to survive the higher temperatures predicted for Southern Africa. The report was published in the science journal Biodiversity. Now, scientists say poaching syndicates are not the only threat to survival of rhinos, but also climate change. The Southern African region's climate is changing very rapidly, and this is, of course, due to global warming. Any thoughts on this, Iria?
I mean, there's so much literature and science on global warming, and I think we've really been struggling with our rhinoceros populations for a considerable amount of time. So it is really sad that, you know, we've had these forebodings, these warnings coming at us.
I think we can argue that since we're young, we've always been trying to save the rhinos.
Exactly.
We've just been hearing this narrative.
That's all I remember
and
about rhinos.
Climate change compounds that naturally, and we certainly hope that we can react faster than anyone because, you know, it is a precious species under our care. Now, moving on, the Landless People's Movement Youth Command says the failure on the part of the government to equip teachers who are required to teach AS levels in Namibia is struggling to achieve good pass marks at school exiting level. This follows the release of grade 11 results last week by the Ministry of Education, which saw pass marks improve by 3.8%. What they have analyzed is that in terms of the new curriculum, most of the teachers did not get training so that they are well aligned with the new curriculum. LPM youth leader Duminga Ndala said they have noticed that there is not sufficient infrastructure or adequate learning material that could supplement the new curriculum. Another limiting factor for Ndala was the lack of adequate infrastructure and teaching aids to enhance the learning process. A lot of schools do not have textbooks, also in terms of infrastructure development. This curriculum also requires schools to have adequate laboratories and libraries, but they have seen a lot of the schools do not have these things, so all these factors do contribute. Any thoughts?
I think our Ministry of Education, there's a lot of individuals within the ministry who are really trying their level best, you know. With the ministry having in previous years said that most of their finances go toward teaching staff and office staff. It's really hard to look at things like this and know that our level best is going into that, you know, and with education getting the lion's share of our budget, it's really hard to reconcile the two. But if you really sit and think about it, it just becomes more and more heartbreaking knowing that we are trying, but we can only do so much now.
I mean, of course, I think I see education as I would see the medical industry. We can try and we can find limitations, but we have to find a way because unfortunately there's just no way around the futures of Namibian children. Now, the Ministry of Safety and Security's appeal against the late Gregory Naumab has been struck from the High Court's role. The ministry approached the High Court after the High Court found on 31 March 2022 that Naumab, who was homeless, had been unlawfully arrested. Chief Justice Peter Shivute, Judge of Appeal Dave Smuts, and Acting Judge of Appeal Essie Shimin Chase found that the ministry was not entitled to condonation. Their legal representative submitted an application for condonation after the court records of proceedings in the High Court were not placed on record within 3 months of the High Court's verdict. Now, Naumab died days after the verdict in the High Court and even before the reasons for the verdict were made public. In 2022, Judge George Coleman ordered the ministry to pay an unknown amount, and this was in damages to Naumab and to cover his legal costs. Naumab asked the court not to disclose the amount. He was vulnerable due to his homelessness.
Okay, so just to clarify on that one, it's the Supreme Court and the High Court.
Supreme Court and the High Court.
Yes. So what happens in Namibia is if you are unsatisfied with any judgment or with any decision made by a certain court, you go to a higher court. So in Namibia, the Supreme Court is placed above the High Court.
Yes, naturally. Okay.
So the decision was originally taken by or made by Judge George Coleman in the High Court, saying that Naumab was illegally detained, and a couple of days shortly after that judgment, Naumab unfortunately was found unconscious in a market in the Mondesa suburb of Swakopmund.
Truly, truly
Yes.
terrible.
So the reasons for Judge George Coleman's decision had not been made public at that point. So he never knew the reasons for this judgment. And then after the proceedings in the High Court, the Ministry of Safety and Security lodged an appeal for this decision. So I was in contact with Namup's lawyer today, and he says that the family have been identified and that they will then receive the money that the Ministry of Safety and Security
at the very least. And of course, in the Ministry of Safety and Security, it is their job to protect us, but with great power comes great responsibility. Now, here's another one of your stories. The Project Room Gallery will open the Emoji, short for African Emoji exhibition on February 9th with the latest photographic works of Tawfiq Behum. This collection was inspired by the increasing connectivity on the African continent and how Africa and Namibia have consequently developed their own emoji dialect. Behum's website says that the inevitable clash between modern and traditional cultures arising from digital development is the fire behind these works. Young Namibian artists have used recycled and traditional Namibian materials to imitate famous emoji faces in masks made according to African styles. Now, Behum then traveled around the country and made models of ordinary Namibians for this exhibition. Yes.
Okay, so this is, I don't think I've been this excited for a photography exhibition in a long time. It's a really, really cool concept that is seemingly meant to serve as sort of a social commentary on how we need to bring together our existing traditional cultures with the new sort of global
modernization
culture.
So to speak.
Yes, exactly.
All right. And the exhibition has been shown in different countries as well?
In many different countries.
Yes.
In South Korea, it is a part of a permanent exhibition at a museum in Oslo, in Norway.
Wow. Shall we go through the full list?
Yes, we shall.
Yes, indeed. A 7th International Exhibition of New Media at the Tsong Institute of Contemporary Art in South Korea, as you said. Space Place Gallery in Russia, Photo Vogue in Milan, that's 2022 and 2021. Dubai Culture and Foundry Downtown Gallery in Dubai is where you can find Emoji. So exciting. You think all Namibians should definitely have a look at this exhibition. What is the use of exhibitions right now in societies? How do you feel they contribute to the day-to-day Namibian experience?
For a lot of people, it's purely entertainment. It's purely just, something to do with their time. And for a lot of people, it is a form of philosophy in and of itself. Art is a form of philosophy. So for people who aren't so talented with words and putting them in order, there is photography, there is mixed media, there is painting, and a lot of people feel that this expands and broadens how you think about things. So things like emoji could be, for a lot of people, basically just a guidance on the philosophy of older meets new and how Africa fits into that narrative.
Do you know, they do say artists interact intimately with the spaces society takes for granted, and it's always beneficial to be able to see what the artists have to say about how we live. We're going to say goodbye to Rihanna Marie. Thank you very much for providing your expertise and your stories with Sunset News. After the break, we take a look at a young chef on our way to India. Stay with us.
We are all seeking connection to each other, to the world, to the spaces we exist in.
Poor sportsmanship right now from the lads.
You might be physically ready, your body is ready, but mentally.
Here's another chance, and it is a goal from Vindo
Wij zij sê wie hy is dan neertrek en daai bal het my grond gevat. Ja, hy het grond gevat en is
but just enough next.
Running that mountain up. Okay, so we will be doing this for the mountain climber. More advanced, slightly advanced.
So is jou trolley reg? Want
I love it. So then
Kickstart our countdown at number 5 with this one.
Op Netwerk TV se Klets Kompas gesels ons nuus van 'n Maandag tot Donderdag. Ons kyk ook na die weer en meer. Stories wat jou raak en stories wat saak maak.
They've made a mistake in denying me bail, and they've made several other mistakes in many other cases.
The channels that teach us something new or reflect our expression. So it goes beyond switching to the right station. It's about choosing the experience that can adorn the present, dressing it with our tastes as we expand our preferences, because what we are actually connecting to is boundless, limitless human energy. And this is the spirit of NTV.
Now, story of the day, Yolanda now talks to second-year chef student Bonita about her participation in the upcoming Young Chef Olympiad taking place in India on Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined with Bonita, and she is from the Silver Spoon Hospitality Academy. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Can you quickly tell us a little bit more about yourself? In which year are you currently?
My name is Bonita Shekwa, and I'm a second-year student at the Silver Spoon Hospitality Academy. I'm currently training to represent Namibia in the Young Chefs Olympiad, which is taking place on the 28th of January till the 5th of February.
And where is this taking place?
The competition is taking place in India, in 5 different cities in India, but I'll be competing in Delhi.
Wow, that's like next week.
Yeah, literally next week. I'll be flying on Saturday. So just trying to get everything in order.
And you were raising funds to make sure that you would be able to go.
Yes.
What did you do to raise funds?
So the class, my classmates and the lecturer, we came up with an idea of selling fat cooks, curry bunny fat cooks, and some chocolate and vanilla cupcakes, which we did really well from the help of the community and everyone that just came together to help for the cause. It's such a heartwarming feeling, just knowing people really want you to get out there and represent the country. So yeah, we raised quite a bit of funds, and I'm able to now travel to India.
What does it mean to you personally to be able to compete in this competition?
It's such an honor, really. I didn't expect it. It just came so suddenly as well, but I feel like I can get myself out there now. I can just open doors for myself, being able to go to such a big scale event. It's a big honor.
Is it a first for you?
It's definitely a first, and it's only going to happen once. So I'm going to take advantage of the situation and just do my best.
Why is it important for Namibian students to be granted opportunities like this?
I feel like the industry is changing so much in these years. It's out with the old, in with the new. So many young people are interested in cooking, just learning different skills. And I feel like if you give them these opportunities, they strive more for what they want, they go for it. So it's a good opportunity for youngsters to be able to do such things. It opens up their minds, and it just pushes them.
Where does your passion for cooking come from?
Not more than 2 years ago, really. It just started out of nowhere. I just love to cook random things in the house with the basic ingredients that we had, and then from then on it expanded, and now here I am.
Great. Bonita, thank you so much. Good luck. I want to say congratulations for being chosen to represent Namibia, and I believe with the whole of NMH that you will do amazing work out there.
Thank you.
In economic news, we look at the expected oil demand growth for 2024. And of course, we wish Bonita all the best in India on Sunday. Stay with us.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In economic news, OPEC has stuck to its forecast for relatively strong growth in global oil demand in 2024 and 2025. It will see a robust increase in oil use led by China and the Middle East in a surprise early prediction. The 2025 forecast is in line with the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries' view oil use will keep rising for the next 2 decades, in contrast to bodies such as the International Energy Agency, which predicts it will peak by 2030 as the world shifts to cleaner energy. OPEC in a monthly report said world oil demand will rise by 1.85 million barrels per day in 2025 to 106.21 million barrels per day. For 2024, OPEC saw demand growth of 2.25 million barrels in demand, unchanged from last month. Stay with us as we head to the indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 19.02 next to the US dollar. 2.65 Namibian dollars gets you 1 Chinese yuan. 20.65 costs you a euro, and for a British pound is 24.15 Namibian dollars. Gold, copper and platinum in the green. Brent crude oil is down -0.75%. In international news, we take a look at the missile attack on Kyiv on Tuesday.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Russia launched missile attacks on Kyiv early on Tuesday, wounding at least 22 people, according to Ukraine's officials. At least 22 people had been wounded across at least 3 districts, and that several apartments and non-residential buildings had caught fire, according to Sergei Popko, head of the military administration in Kyiv. At one site, rescuers tended to dazed and groaning victims as workers swept away debris as well as broken glass. Some of the damage had occurred next to the United Nations office in Kyiv, resident coordinator Denise Brown said in a statement. The city's military administration said doctors were still fighting for one victim's life. Reuters journalists reported hearing several waves of explosions in and around Kyiv and saw burning debris falling from the sky. Ukraine's Air Force said the military had destroyed 21 out of 41 missiles of various types fired by Russia. That has been our international news story. We're going to swing over to the weather shortly.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nhh.com.na.
Windhoek is 6:25 a.m. Sunset is 19:39. However, it is going to be partly cloudy in most of the places in Namibia. Windhoek expecting 31 degrees Celsius maximum temperatures over there. It is 33 maximums for Rundu, Enana and Oshakati. Henties Bay, Swakopmund, Walvish Bay, the coast is pretty much looking partly cloudy with a little bit of sun peeking around the corner. Very hot in Mariental and Ariamsvlei as well as Keetmanshoop. Stay with Sunset News as we swing over to your sports stories with Juan Ari Hochad.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour,
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with Australian Open. It is week 2, very exciting tennis in Melbourne in Australia. In the men's side of the draw, it is a number 1 seed Novak Djokovic. He's safely through to the quarterfinals. He needed 4 sets to beat Taylor Fritz of the United States. And then it's also Carlos Alcaraz of Spain, the number 2 seed, also still in the tournament, playing in the 4th round. In the 4th round also, number 6 seed Alexander Zverev, a great performance by him. He needed 5 sets to beat Cameron Norrie of Great Britain, and it was a 7-6 in the 5th set. So Alexander Zverev of Germany also through to the quarterfinals. Then it is also on the women's side of the draw. It is number 4 seed of the United States, Coco Gauff, one of the early favorites, and she's through to the quarterfinals. She beat Marta Kostic of Ukraine, and the score there was 7-6, 6-7, and then 6-2 in the 3rd set. And then a good result also for Qinwen Zheng. She's from China, 12th seed, also winning in the 4th round. Number 2 seed in the tournament is Aryna Sabalenka. She's safely through also to the quarterfinals, and she's the favorite at the moment and the highest seed left on the women's side of the draw, with Iga Swiatek, the number 1 seed, losing earlier in the 3rd round. And continuing international sports news with golf news, both on the PGA and the DP World Tour. Firstly, on the PGA Tour, it was history that was made. It was the junior or the amateur Nick Dunlop. He's just 20 years old. He won the American Express tournament that is on the PGA professional circuit, and that was the first time since 1991. That was when Phil Mickelson won as an amateur. So a great performance by the amateur. He's still 20 years old, and because he's an amateur, he cannot receive the 1.5 million winners check. That will go to the 2nd placed player, and that is South African Christian Besaidnout. He came in 2nd on 28 under par. Dunlop won with a 29 under par. The good news for Nick Dunlop is that he qualifies, he's got an exemption for 2 years now on the PGA Tour, so he can comfortably turn pro now, and he also qualifies for this year's majors, being the Masters, also the PGA, and the Players Championship he qualified for as well. Then on the European Tour, on the DP World Tour, it is Rory McIlroy of Northern Ireland that won the tournament. He defended his title with a total of -14, 1 shot better than Adrian Meronk of Poland on -13. Rory McIlroy has won the tournament now four times, and is currently the number 2 player in the world. And to close off today's international sports news, it is soccer news, and it's news from Liverpool related to Mo Salah, that's currently playing in the AFCON tournament, that is for Egypt, but he injured his leg. That was in a Group B game against Ghana that ended 2-2. But it seems like his injury is more serious than initially thought. So he's back at Liverpool, where he went into a rehab program at Liverpool. That's of course his professional club, and Egypt still hope that he will be out just for a few games or 2 games. But Liverpool said that he might not be able to play for 3 to 4 weeks, and so it's more serious than they thought. And it is Liverpool that indicated that at best he might be available for the quarterfinals on the 2nd or the 3rd of February if Egypt go that far. So it is not good news for Egypt, and Liverpool will definitely protect their player and make sure that he's ready to play before they send him back to the AFCON tournament. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
And with that, we have come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneuptwo.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV 285, GoTV 25 every weekday and Sunday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Before we close off, get ready for the glitz and glamour as Network Television presents the first ever NTV Awards ceremony. NTV Awards nominations are here. Cast your vote now for your favorite talk show by WhatsApping #NTV Awards 2024 to 085 785 6231. Follow instructions and vote for the best talk show, which is Sunset News. Voting closes on the 1st of February 2024. This has been Sunset News. My name is Ashwin Berry. Don't end your day without us.